look, it's been a really diligent preparation. We're fortunate in that we've seen a lot of their young guys come through the junior competition. So, through our recruiting processes, we've seen a lot of them at that level, and obviously only the one game of AFL level footy to judge them on, but they were extremely impressive 2 weeks ago against Sydney. We were, like most people, very surprised at how hard they were in the contest. To break even with Sydney, in the clearances and do exceptionally well in contested possession, that was a fantastic performance on those fronts. So, we know that we're going to get a genuine competitive effort from them. So, what we get on Sunday is what we take from them. We're not going down there and just expecting them to hand it to us on a silver platter.
Is there any need to tag your Scullys, your Powers, your Wards, or is it a matter of you just go as you normally would?
Yeah, and Reece Palmer too. I put in that, who I thought played his best game in about 2 years. So, they've got some genuine talent. When you put Scully and Power and Brogan back into the side that competed really well 2 weeks ago, we're going down there for a serious game.
They look to have a little bit more of a defensive game plan than Gold Coast did in their early games last year. Is that how you read it?
No, not really. I think that's a little bit of a fallacy. I know it's been peddled out there a fair bit, but the reason they were so competitive, in my view, is because they were really intense at the contest. They didn't put numbers behind the ball, contrary to popular opinion. They did for small periods of the game, but the reason they were competitive is because they gave a genuine effort at the contest, and led by Callum Ward, Reece Palmer and James McDonald.
It was a very physical game last week. Brad, how did the boys pull up on the most part?
Yeah, really well. It's an 8-day break as well, so there'll certainly be no excuses on that front, and the guys have trained really well this week.
Drew got his wife got their child out of the way. He might be up and about.
Yeah, no, it's good news, and both Nicole, his wife, and baby are fighting fit, so it's great news, and that's where those things are more important than football. So, but we are fortunate that it happened during the week rather than on the weekend.
It's a big trip for the club, isn't it? Important.
Yeah, it's really important, and I think everyone's genuinely excited about getting down to Hobart. We've been down there a number of times, both late last year and this year already, and the excitement is really building down there for a legitimate game of AFL footy for premiership points. So, from what I'm told, people don't buy their tickets pre-game. The game will be a sellout, so the people of Hobart have got to get in and get their tickets early, and because it's going to be an historic day and one we're really looking forward to.
Have you spoken about that with the boys as to what they need to do in terms of developing Tasmania?
Oh, look, all the stuff we do on field it doesn't change from week to week, but we've done an enormous amount of work engaging the people of Hobart and really showing them that we're coming down there to engage a community, not just to come down and play 2 games a year. So, there's a lot of stuff that will be done off field by the players, and so far they've embraced that extremely well.
Given I suppose, the rivalry down in Tasmania with Launceston and Hobart, Hawthorn's Launceston's side, it's a real chance to make Hobart your own. And what's your feedback been like? I mean, have they been really embracing the Kangaroos?
Oh, they have. They've been outstanding. I mean, they're a footy mad group of people. So, they really want to generate AFL games of footy, in their hometown, and they see us as the vehicle to provide that. So, I think that whether they're Kangaroos supporters or not, the people of Hobart just want to see AFL footy in their town, and I'm sure there'll be the majority of people there will be Kangaroos supporters, but there'll be supporters of other teams as well who just want to see top level football.
What about the ground? The dimensions of it? What does it compare to, if any?
Oh, it's a true cricket ground. So it's I suppose it's a little bit longer than the SCG and not quite as wide, but it's more of a circular ground rather than an oval. But the surface is absolutely first class. I was down there not long ago, and the surface just looked absolutely perfect. So we expect a high standard of footy.
Is tomorrow's training run important just to gauge, how the wind affects the ground? All that's quite close to the river, all sorts of things like that. Yeah,
the wind does come off the Derwent, and the hill area there at Blundstone Arena. The wind can sort of whip in through there, so it'd just be familiarisation really with the ground, and the conditions, particularly in Hobart, can change day to day. So, but most importantly for us is to get down there tomorrow and engage with the people of Hobart. Hopefully, we'll get a few people come out and watch us train, and for the guys to have a look at the ground, some of them for the first time.
Brad, just back on Drew Petrie, it seemed as though at times last weekend that the boys were very reliant on going to him and were able to shut him down to some degree. Is that something that's been talked about or anything, or can the group be too reliant on a big target like Drew up forward?
Oh no, Drew kicked 2, Aaron Edwards kicked 2, and Lindsay Thomas kicked 2. So You know, and Hamish McIntosh could have easily kicked 2. We know that, and could have kicked 3 or 4 actually. But so between those guys, we've got a number of forwards who can score. But we did think we bombed the ball a little bit too much last week and played into Essendon's hands. And to their credit, they were able to impact third up, which I thought we'd get a better contest in the air from some of our forwards and some of our rucks. But that's something we'll look to improve this week.
Have you put any more thought generally into 2 versus 3 big men around the ground?
It's always something I think about. But look, at the moment, I think Hamish and Todd Goldstein will be really looking to respond after their performance last week. Goldie in particular. So we'll give them another chance to respond. But as I've said before, it's either something that will work for us or it won't. And if it doesn't, we'll change it.
Do they have to do something a bit more special when they go forward?
Yeah, they have to mark it and kick goals. Yeah.
For a new club, Greater Western Sydney, they play their first game, then they take a week off, and then they play their second. If you were in charge of them, would you have been frustrated with that draw?
No, I would have been wrapped with it. I think it's perfect for them. They've got a young group, and we know it's a very long season, and so to break up the start to their year is ideal for them. So it probably enables them to play all their young kids again. Whereas I think if you give them extended periods where they're playing back-to-back games, they'll probably need to rest them at some point. So I think it's been an ideal start for them, given they've got to buy in another 10 weeks.
Does that worry you then, in that sense, that it suits them?
No. I mean, we saw what everyone else saw, a fortnight ago against the Swans, a genuine competitive effort. So, we're expecting that plus more, with the inclusion of Scully and Power and Brogan. So, we know exactly what we're going to get.
Naturally, everyone expects you to win. Have you got a margin in mind?
4 points is what I've got in mind, and playing the style of footy that we expect will hold up in September football. So that's our attitude going in. If we expect anything other than an ultra competitive effort from GWS and from ourselves, then we're kidding ourselves.